Did you know that it's possible to get 145% yield bonus when using precision farming in seasons? Stick around. I've got 10 steps to explain how. Welcome back, everybody. Driver 53 here, and today we've got a video going over precision farming and seasons and how you're going to be able to get 145% yield bonus when you run both of these together. So I put a list together here of 10 items that you're going to need to make sure you do. So let's jump into it. Step number 1, install precision farming DLC. You're going to have different soil types, and one of those soil types is going to give you a 125% bonus over base game as long as you do all the other stuff that it says. We're going to go over that here in a second. But step number 1, install precision farming DLC. The second part to step 1 is you're going to need to install seasons. Now this is by Realismus modding. Awesome modder that created seasons here. And this is going to let you get about 20% more on your crop yield as long as you do the proper rotation of crops. And we'll get into that here in a little bit too. So let's move on to step number 2 now. Step number 2 is to find a field with loam. And that is a soil type that you're going to find whenever you use precision farming. So let me just show you how you do that. You come over to the far left-hand tab. It's going to be the globe or the planet, and you're going to hit your L3 button. And then you hover over a field and you hit R3. And as you can see up there in the field info, it says that this field is 85% loamy sand and 14% silty clay. That's not going to give you a very good yield. You want loam. So if you come to another field, now we're getting a little bit better maybe. Come here. That right there, sandy loam, is going to give you 100%, but that's still not the one we're looking for. So let's try this field right here, 41, 100% loam. And as you can see, the expected yield potential is 125%. All right, I know it's not 145, but we're most of the way there. So you need to make sure that you get soil type that is loam. Now, can you do this with a field that looks like this? Absolutely, but your loamy sand is not going to get you the 145. Only the loam is going to produce at 145%. Step number 3 is make sure your field is plowed. So let me go ahead and show you the menu here really quickly. So this is what it looks like if you have a field that needs a few areas plowed. If you've got an entire field like this one right here, you're going to need to do the whole thing. This one here just needs a few spots touched up around the outside, so that's what we're going to go ahead and do really quickly. If you do not do this, you will lose 15% of your yield in the areas where you do not plow. So make sure your entire field is plowed. That way you get that full maximum yield. Step number 4 is to take soil samples. And the way you do that is you grab the Scout right here out of the catalog, lease it or buy it. And when you bring it over, you're going to see a circle once you unfold it that's showing on your mini map down here. So when you actually take the sample, it's going to flash for you. And then what this allows you to do is be able to see how much nitrogen and pH is in the soil. So then you're going to send this off just like that. Perfect. And then, like I said, it's going to allow you to be able to see what actually needs to be done to the ground. If you don't do this step, you will not be able to apply the nutrients and fertilizer properly. So do your entire field all the way around, send them off, and then we'll be ready for the next step. Step number 5 is apply lime to your entire field to make it meet the required amount. And what I mean there, let me show you this map. So as you can see, we have loam here in this field number 41. We've already soil sampled it. We did the plowing around the outside, so all of our bad spots are gone. Now when we come across to our pH levels, you can see that we have two different levels here. And over on the right hand side, if we come down, we can see that 5.56 sorry, 6.0 and 6.25. So loam is actually going to want to be at 6.75. So what you're going to do is use the lime spreader here in an automatic setting to spread lime over the whole thing. It will bring it up to 6.75, and then you're good to go. And then you're ready to go on to the next step. Step number 6 is use your crop rotation planner to determine the best crop that you need to use right now. And what I mean by that is, if you look here in the bottom right hand corner, you can see at the very bottom it says previous fallow, before previous fallow. Those are the two crops that were in this field before. And the reason that matters is because whenever you go to your crop rotation planner, you use that to determine what's going to give you your best yield now. And the way you get to that planner is you hold your left L1 and your options. And it's going to bring up your menu here, and you can tab all the way across to all your different options here on the top. But this one right here is the one that you want. It's got the two arrows and a circle around the plant. And what you're going to do is change these different settings here to match what's on your field. So we know that previous, which is this line right here, was fallow. Before previous was fallow also. But if it happened to say, I don't know, grass and canola, right? Then you come down here, and this is the one that you want to do this time. Okay? So with us having fallow and fallow, let me get back to it. You can see that wheat, we're going to get 1.20, and that's going to give you 20% over base game yields. Remembering, precision farming with loam is going to give us 25% over base game yields. So it's really, really awesome that when you add these two together, this is what's going to give you your 145. So you have to do this step right here, because if you put, let's say you had barley in here before, and now you wanted to do oats, you're only going to get 1.00, which is 100%. You're not going to get your extra 20% that you need. So pay attention to this. It's really important to be able to get that. Now, if it's not a crop that you want to use, then maybe think about a different field, or have this one just be 100, and then the next time it's going to be, 120 again. So crop rotation planner is your friend to get 145% yield. Step 7, you got to put some seeds in the ground. Now we have 3 different versions here, and I want to go over each one and what other step might be needed if you use each one of these. So let's jump into our garage really quick and take a look. So this Limkin right here, the Solitaire 12 on the left hand side, it's going to put seeds in the ground for you, no problem. It's the only thing it's going to do. If you look down in the middle of the screen on the bottom row, it's got a what looks like a cup with a plant inside it, and then a white symbol next to it that says a plant on it. That's seeds only. So it's only going to seed for you. And if you look at the very bottom, it says with a seeder planter you can sow fields. So it's only going to sow. Now, if you have not cultivated your field, you need to cultivate first. But I've got a way where you don't have to cultivate. And that's going to be by using this one right here, the Rapid A 600S. It still only does seeds for you, but if you look at the bottom now, it says additionally, this machine offers the possibility to seed directly, no previous cultivating or plowing necessary. So you can reduce a step by using this piece of equipment here. Now this one is only 6 meters versus 12 meters, so it may not be worth it because it's going to take you 4 times as long, but it's going to do both for you. Now, I've got another little trick. If you use this one right here, one very similar to it, it also puts seeds in the ground. It is a direct drill, so you don't have to cultivate. Plus, it does fertilizer. If you look right above where we showed the seed symbol before, now it has another symbol next to it, and this one does fertilizer at the same time. So the really awesome thing about using precision farming is if you fertilize at the exact same time, it's going to automatically do it for you. And that's actually going to be our next step. So let's jump over and talk about that. Step 8 is now fertilize. Now, there's a couple different ways that you can do this. The method that I've chosen here is to put the fertilizer after I put the seeds in the ground. And the reason for this is because different crops require different amounts of fertilizer depending on the crop type. Okay, so some of your crops like soybeans don't require anything at all. So you don't actually need to do this on soybeans. But wheat and corn and other ones like that require 200 points of nitrogen in the ground to fully be fertilized. And let me show you what I mean by that here. This is our nitrogen section menu in precision farming. And as you can see right now, this whole field is setting about 40 kilograms per hectare. So I call that 40 points of nitrogen right now. And you're going to need to take this all the way up to 200 points here on wheat. But some crops only require 160 or even 120 or 100 to be fully fertilized. So I've got some other videos explaining this, and I'm going to go and link that up here above to show you all the different levels that you're going to need. And you can do this also in a couple different stages. Also, you can put manure down before you put any of your seeds in the ground, because it's a smaller amount of nitrogen goes in the ground. So if you know that you have a high requirement crop, you can put manure down first and then put your seeds and then come back and put your fertilizer over top. I use solid fertilizer all the time instead of liquid. It doesn't really make a difference on which one you use. Just don't put it before you put the seeds in the ground, because if you max out and your crop doesn't require that much, you could get a penalty for having too much nitrogen, and then you're not going to see that 100 or that the bonus, the 125 that precision farming gives you. And I've got videos on that too. You can check my playlist. It's in the same playlist as the video that I just linked. So the other thing that you can do is, if you have a seeder like we talked about earlier that actually puts it in at the same time, then it will automatically put that amount of fertilizer that it requires. So if I have my mini map up here, you're going to see that when I turn this on, it actually shows up and shows me how much is going on my field. So I'll be able to cover the whole field with the fertilizer. Now with the automatic mode, it automatically knows where you're at. And if you've got a small little bitty strip that's left, it may not hit that. So be careful when you're fertilizing, if you're doing it manually, that you overlap just a little bit and you don't leave those little strips, because they will not come back and get fertilized fully. So let's go ahead and put some fertilizer on this, and then I'll come back and tell you guys what the next step is. Step number 9 is to take care of your weeds. We have two options here. One, you can run a mechanical sort of weeder, or you can run a chemical sprayer. Both of them do the exact same thing. Just if you're going in your field after you have crops past the first stage of growth, you're going to want really, really narrow tires. These big ones will actually kill the crop that you have growing. So this one's really, really wide. These are typically pretty narrow. The cost difference, though, cheaper, more expensive. And the way that you know that you have weeds is, let's look at our map here really quickly. And you can see 41, it's all one color. We don't have anything at all. But if you come over here to 33, you can see there's this pink patch right here. This is weeds. And over here, you can see 2 patches here and 1 patch here. Those are weeds. So there's a couple things you can do. You can wait till they show up and then go out and take care of them a little bit at a time. Or you can spread your herbicide over the whole field all at once. I like to spread it all right after I get done with my fertilizer and my seeding, and then it stays that way for the duration of the growth cycles until harvest, and then I don't have anything at all. So that's what we're going to go do, and I'll be back and let you guys know what step number 10 is. Before we reveal what step 10 is, let's do a quick recap. Step 1, install precision farming in seasons. Step 2, find a loam field. 3, plow. You got to make sure you get that 15% bonus from base game. 4, take your soil samples. That way you know how much lime and fertilizer you're going to need, and it's going to work properly when you do the automatic settings. 5, put lime down and use the automatic setting like I said. That way it's giving you the optimal conditions for that field. 6, crop rotation planner. Make sure you use that so that you're seeing which crop is going to give you the 120% yield based on what was in the ground before it. 7, put seeds in the ground. We showed you the 3 different ways that you could do it. 8, fertilize. Mineral, you can use manure, you can use liquid, any of those 3 ways. And number 9 was weeds. Take care of your weeds, whether it's mechanical or by spray. Just make sure you keep them out. That way you're not losing any yield from those being in there also. So now it is time to wait. This is the worst part. You've done all the work and you just have to figure out what to do next. What I recommend is if you want to get it done fast, you don't have a whole lot of other work going on, bump your time up to 120. As you can see up in the top right, I have done that now. And we're going to see how many days it takes. Step number 10, it's harvest time. That's right, we got to get all the crops off the ground now. You should be able to get to this point without having any withering. We're early in autumn right now. Different geos, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. So just be really careful about which one you select, and know that, some of them you're going to have a higher chance of getting some of that damage to the crop because of the weather that's going on around the springtime when you're planting, or summer droughts, or freezing even in the winter, or the summertime, or rains in the fall, and it's going to prevent you from getting your harvest out, and you're going to see degradation there because it's starting to wither. So seasons is not the most fun unless one thing, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and get this crop off the ground, give you guys the total so we can see exactly how much we have, and then we'll talk about that other thing after we're done with that. So let me get all this, and I'll be right back with the total. As you can see, we have all of the crops off the field, and they are in that trailer right there. So when I did this field in base game, I was able to get 11,292. That was the yield off of this, and that included fertilizing everything. There was no weeds in the ground. We did plowing, everything, lime, everything was good to go, as best as you can get it in base game. So 11,292. So if you multiply that by 1.45, which is what I'm expecting that you're going to see on the bonus here, because you have precision farming and seasons stacked on top of each other, it's 16,373. So really, really awesome. We have more than that, though. We definitely have more than 16,373. It's up in the trailer. We have 17,800 liters, y'all. 17,800 liters. That right there is like 57.5. So like 157.5%, right? So it's like 12.5% over top of what I thought we were going to get. So it's really, really strange. It's almost like we had the base game multiplied by precision farming, and then you take that and multiply it again at 1.20 for the seasons, but that's not even accurate because that's only 16,938. So somehow we got a bunch extra, and I can't really explain it. But it's absolutely awesome that we got this. This is the first time I'd actually run this test on a fully 100% loam field, so I didn't know exactly what I was going to be getting, like what my target was. But that's crazy. 157% yield on this. So, I mean, if you like really, really big yields, I know it's going to take a little bit longer to do everything because of seasons. And I've got another thing. Like told you before, if you don't really like the seasons thing, I got something. The geo that I'm running right here is the Simplified USA. And as you can see, you can plant year round and you can harvest for 10 out of the 12 days if you run 12-day seasons, or 3-day seasons. So 12-day years, you can harvest 10 of those days. As you can see right here, we put everything in the ground on day 1. I'm now day 1 on autumn, and I'm able to harvest. So it's only 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So theoretically, you could get a couple in a year. And the other really cool thing about this, let me show you this here too. If we come over to here, this is your crop info. This is your resistance for your frost and your drought. Everything is super high, so it's never going to get damaged because of the weather. The only thing is if you get to the end of the year and you can't get it out in time, then you could get withering because you can't get it off the field in time because of moisture content. So yeah, it's really, really awesome geo. Like I said, it's USA Simplified is what it is. So I plan on running this one a lot. I mean, especially for these yields. I mean, can you imagine some of these super huge fields? Like, so let's look at this also. We had 17,800 on this field. And if we look at our menu here, so this is our map. And if we take a look at this, you can see that field 41 is only 0.69 of a hectare. That's crazy. 17,800 liters of wheat on a field that's only 0.69 hectares. I did some quick math on this, and per hectare, so at 1.00 hectares, the equivalent of this harvest right here would be 25,797 liters. That's crazy. Almost 26,000 liters per hectare of wheat using this method right here that we just did. That is absolutely crazy. Base game on this, so 11,292 at 0.69 hectare. If it was a field at 1.00 hectares, it would have been 16,365. So that is 9,400 liters more. 9,400 liters more. I mean, per hectare, y'all. That's a pretty significant amount of money. I mean, if you're running something like, you know, and this is on wheat also. So we know that, so normal prices on wheat is somewhere around 7 to 750. All right. So let's just say 750 at 9,000 liters. That's what, $7,000, something like that per hectare more that you're going to get by running this way. Precision farming, you're going to have less stuff going in the ground, so it's going to save you even more money there. Yo, I don't know why we don't all use seasons. I mean, I know it's kind of complicated at first, but run the USA Simplified Geo, or the Simplified USA Geo. You're going to be able to plant and harvest multiple times in a year. I think it's awesome. Absolutely awesome. But that's going to be it for today, everybody. If you enjoyed the video or learned something today, go and give me a thumbs up if you would. If you want to be kept up to date on all my latest precision farming videos, think about hitting that subscribe button. If you do, hit the notification bell. Have a great day, everybody. Until next time, this is Driver 53, signing off.